Have you ever had one of those days where you just, well, you knew you had to lay it all on the line, speak a truth that might be tough, maybe uncomfortable, but just absolutely necessary, where your words feel like they have, I don't know, real weight?
Like the timing itself is pushing you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the timing is just right, setting things up perfectly for you to truly say what you mean and mean what you say. Welcome to the deep dive. Because some days are actually inherently aligned for exactly those kinds of moments. Today, we're diving deep into this concept we're calling the Day of Iron Words.
And our sources for this are really interesting. We're looking at an astrological guide. It's called Tarot by High C. Funnily enough, though it's focused on planetary stuff here, specifically for June 26, 2025.
Right. And then we're going to bring those ideas to life with a narrative, a story that really illustrates these principles in action.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission today, really, is to explore how certain energies, cosmic energies, can genuinely empower, well, clear communication
Mm-hmm.
and strategic decision-making.
Yeah.
And maybe give us that bit of courage we need to make bold, long-term plans.
Okay.
We're going to unpack what it truly means to, not just talk, but to really articulate with conviction, especially when your words are just destined to leave a mark.
That sets the stage beautifully. So let's look at the astrological map first. June 26, 2025. Our guide points to this day as being specifically primed for making choices, decisions, particularly practical, pragmatic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The core message seems incredibly clear. It's about speaking with absolute clarity and integrity, saying what we mean, meaning what we say.
And what's fascinating there is the emphasis on the weight our words carry.
Mm.
On this specific day, the guide actually cautions pretty strongly against, like, gossip or just unnecessary blabbing. Yeah, reminding us that every single word spoken could have these ripple effects. It underscores this deep sense of responsibility for how we communicate, making sure what we say actually serves a purpose.
That makes sense. And speaking of purpose,
Yeah.
talk about being in the spotlight. The moon on this day is in Leo. So the moon influences our emotions, right? Our instincts.
And how you present ourselves, yeah.
So when it moves into Leo, the lion, big expression, what does that mean for us practically?
Well, it's pretty much as you'd guess. You might find yourself stepping right into the spotlight, maybe literally, maybe just metaphorically, feeling like all eyes are on you.
Okay.
Leo energy wants expression, it wants presence. So under this influence, making a bold statement, something undeniable, it becomes kind of essential.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge, but also the opportunity, is to channel that Leo desire for attention into, like, genuine, impactful communication, not just performance for performance's sake.
Right. It's about owning your space, owning your message. So it's not just about being seen. It's about what you actually say when you are seen. Which brings us to what our source calls the power duo for the day, Mercury trine Saturn. Now, for listeners maybe not super deep into astrological technical terms, can you break down what that alignment signifies? Why is it so potent?
Absolutely. So think of Mercury as, well, communication, thought, intellect.
Okay.
And Saturn, on the other hand, is all about structure, discipline, long-term planning. It's often linked to wisdom gained through experience.
Right, the taskmaster sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But when they form a trine, which just means they're at this harmonious flowing angle to each other, it's like a perfect synergy, this specific alignment promotes exceptionally clear communication, really practical thinking, and this invaluable ability to structure your ideas, your plans effectively, make them solid, robust. It's about mental rigor, but maybe without the usual struggle. It allows for a smoother flow between thinking it and actually doing it.
Okay, that sounds like a recipe for making a truly impactful statement then. The strategic advantages seem pretty huge here.
Definitely.
This aspect supports important discussions, helps you make firm, well-thought-out decisions, and really lets you focus on the details, the crucial details underpinning long-term goals. The guide uses some powerful words to describe the energy: bold, focused, strategy, seriously compelling. It suggests a mindset really geared for serious outcomes.
It does. It genuinely encourages that serious, structured thinking and the confidence to share those ideas, leading to what our source calls a weighted and necessary understanding of the world around us. This isn't surface-level stuff.
Right.
It's about building a solid, enduring framework for your plans, how you approach challenges.
So it's not just heavy thoughts, it's about action. And the energy seems to really push for that, doesn't it?
Yes, very action-oriented.
Our guide says it urges you to create a solid game plan, even rewrite the rule book if we feel the need. That's pretty bold.
It is bold.
And decisions should be based on what will be most productive long-term.
Long-term focus, absolutely.
It's truly about turning intentions into reality, not just talking the talk, but walking it with a plan.
Getting real about what needs doing.
Exactly. And crucially, the guide warns against being too mentally limited or restricted by what we tell ourselves is possible, pushing boundaries.
Right. Don't hold yourself back with assumptions.
Okay, so the astrological forecast sets a remarkably clear stage. A day for impactful, precise action.
Mm-hmm. But how does this actually play out? Beyond the charts, in the real world.
Good question.
And this is where our narrative comes in, bringing these principles to life through the story of Asha Varin and the council hall.
All right, let's shift to the narrative. Story time. Picture this. The city woke up under a sky the color of old pewter. Kind of gray, heavy. And the moon in Leo, it's described as hanging like a fierce, watchful eye somewhere beyond that haze. You could feel it in the air, the story says. Every conversation felt like it carried the weight of stone tablets. It just wasn't a day for small talk.
Yeah, the scene is immediately set for something significant, something heavy. And Asha Varin steps into this council hall, facing these faces sharpened by years of cunning and experience.
Yeah.
You can almost feel their eyes on her, right?
Ah.
Calculating, measuring whether she was bold enough, clear enough, unshakable enough. This is the ultimate test, really, of the Day of Iron Words.
What's fascinating here is a small detail, a personal detail Asha carries. It's a smoky quartz stone.
Oh, interesting.
A grounding gift from her grandmother, who told her, basically, this stone holds clarity. When your mind turns to fog, hold it. Find your center, then speak like you mean to command the room.
Wow.
It perfectly illustrates that need for deliberate, impactful communication the day requires, like a physical anchor for her mental resolve.
That's powerful. And the stakes of this meeting, on the surface, they sounded straightforward enough. Restructure trade routes, shift resources, deal with contracts.
Practical stuff.
Practical stuff, yeah. But beneath it, the narrative says, ran these deeper currents. Old rivalries, hidden ambitions, the undeniable shift in the city's fortunes.
Ah, the subtext.
Always the subtext. It highlights that even practical matters are tangled up with complex human dynamics, making clarity and conviction even more vital.
And guess what? Our astrological aspect, Mercury trine Saturn, was apparently in perfect aspect, and it showed.
You can feel it in this story.
Totally. The narrative tells us every word spoken in that room landed like a stone in water, ripples unavoidable.
Oh, good imagery.
Right. Asha knew she couldn't afford to fumble. She had to think boldly, plan sharply, and speak with precision. It's incredible how you can see those astrological energies manifesting in human action, especially when someone is maybe aware or just tuned in.
Her strategy demonstrates this perfectly, her bold strategy. When it was her turn, she didn't just, give a speech. She laid a single map across the table.
Oh, visual.
Very visual. Lines drawn in crimson ink that cut through old territories, upending assumptions held for decades. And she didn't ask for approval. She made a case.
That's the Mercury-Saturn structure right there. Making the case, not just asking. Creating the game plan, rewriting the rule.
Exactly. It's the embodiment of it.
And her defining statement just nails it. Her voice was steady, each word deliberate. Change is inevitable. She starts.
Okay.
But progress requires strategy. Not safe moves, but bold ones. This is not about what was or what we wish could be. It's about what must be done if we intend to survive and thrive.
Wow. Straight to the point. No mincing words.
None. You can almost hear the tension in the room, right? The silent reaction. Some people winced, apparently some nodded. It's that kind of unvarnished truth that cuts through.
And the outcome really underscores the power of this day, this energy. By the time the council adjourned, Asha's new trade strategy, it was ratified.
Wow.
She left the chamber not with this, feeling of giddy triumph, but with a list of what needed doing, a plan with no room for complacency, and a reputation sharpened like a blade.
Sharpened like a blade. That's intense. It's about tangible results, long-term results, forged from that focused intent.
Precisely.
And the legacy of that day became embedded in the city's memory. They actually started calling it the Day of Iron Words.
That's fitting.
Yeah, a time when truths were spoken with weight, the idle silenced, and decisions forged for the long march ahead. And that smoky quartz, remember, warm in her pocket. A quiet symbol of the lasting impact her words had. It really hammers home the point. It makes you think about those pivotal moments in your own life, big or small. where maybe a clear, precise message delivered at just the right moment completely turned the tide.
That's a crucial observation.
Yeah.
Because it connects directly back to what this deep dive means for you listening. Asha's narrative, combined with those astrological principles, it shows us how focused intent and clear strategic articulation can profoundly shape outcomes.
Right.
Whether it's in your job or critical personal decisions or maybe just those difficult, necessary conversations we all have to face sometimes.
Yeah.
The power of deliberate, weighted communication is absolutely real.
It really is about the power of deliberate action. This deep dive kind of reiterates that theme, doesn't it? That some days, or maybe even just certain moments, they really call for you to be bold, strategic, incredibly precise with your words and your plans.
Yeah. And prioritizing that long-term productivity, the long-term impact, over maybe fleeting sentiment or just staying comfortable.
Yeah. Comfort versus progress.
Exactly. The Day of Iron Words isn't just about one specific date on a calendar. It's a concept, really. It's about recognizing when the time feels right, when the energy supports bringing clarity, precision, and courage to your communication, to your decisions. Knowing those words will resonate, they'll shape the path forward.
Okay, so to recap, we've really explored the significance of focused communication, that strategic planning element, and the courage needed to make bold, long-term decisions, especially when you feel that true weight behind your words, the potential for real impact.
Harnessing that energy when it presents itself.
Precisely. And here's a provocative thought for you to maybe ponder on your own. If you could identify your own day of iron words, maybe it's coming up, maybe it's a feeling you recognize, a day when all the stars align for you to speak your truth with unwavering conviction. What truths would you speak with weight, and what rule books might you rewrite for your own long march ahead?